Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
Your Lord of Pennies is here as well. Say hello, Satsu.
What up, though?
I'm your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey, and we're here to entertain you for a little bit, which is fortuitous because Timothy Sealbeck, thank you for the donation, who says, Ranting Monkey, entertain me. I'm about to. Hold on.
That's what I'm about to do.
That's what we call. That's what we're here for. Hi, guys. Hope everybody's well. Hope you're having a great day. I had a weird one, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Scribbles, how was your day?
Well, it was work and then a long, protracted phone call meeting where I kind of just had to sit there and listen for an hour until it was my turn, and then I did my bit for 5 minutes, and then I'd wait for another 20 minutes. But if we get some free time tonight, I really want to discuss these VR ideas.
Okay.
Because for those of you that weren't here, these my VR ideas. So Satsu said, "Hey, there's a VR game now. You got your what is it, Oculus Rift or whatever?"
Yeah.
He's got Oculus Rift, and there's whichever, and same difference. And there's apparently a VR game called, what was it again?
Drunken Bar Fight.
Drunken Bar Fight. Yeah, VR Drunken Bar Fight. And so I'm like, how much can we reduce this idea down into absurdity? And I was like, I bet there's like a burglar simulator, and Satsu's like, yeah, there's a thief simulator. I said, how about a litterer simulator? It'll be like that goat simulator game. It'll be so ridiculous that it'll sell like hotcakes, where it's like, can you drop this scrap of paper without the park ranger catching you? And it slowly builds up to like, okay, scraps of paper, and then
dump this toxic waste into
exactly, bottles and cans, and then toxic waste, and then human corpses. Because you just work your way up on the litter scale. You're not actually killing anybody, just like
working your way up on the litter scale is human corpses.
Yeah, you don't actually. It's not a murder.
Is that littering?
No, you just happen to find a dead body in your trunk, and you have to drop it off somewhere. There's no backstory, there's no lore. It's just that's level 17. Is like, now it's time for human corpses, and then after that, it's like, I illegally poached a whale in non-whaling season. What do I do?
Gotta get rid of it.
So do you drop it, or do you put dynamite inside of the
Yeah, I can. You know what's fucked up? I can absolutely see something like that existing on VR.
I'm saying it is $1 million idea. Whoever comes up with that first and makes that, they're going to be rich. And all I ask for is 10%. That's it. I'm just saying it's not that far-fetched. Anyway, that was my day. How are you, Monkey?
I'm good, but let's do Satsu first. Satsu, how you doing, man?
Real good, man. I actually worked out later tonight. I just got finished like 30 minutes ago or whatever. Almost 50 minutes on the treadmill, and Squishy stopped me because I could have kept going. She's like, "You need to stop. Like you're like doing too much now." And I'm like, "Man, I feel good as hell right now. Like I haven't felt this good in I don't know how long." I did that. I played a bunch of VR earlier or whatever. Took that package that I ordered that wasn't supposed to show up because I got refunded back to the place. I was like extra productive today. Well, on the real life side, not so much the YouTube side. So, and I feel good as hell right now. So,
feeling wise, I'm good. Like I said, just I had a strange night into the day, and I was doing my game stream last night, and a storm came through that knocked the satellite out and trees down and shit. I wasn't expecting it. Usually a storm like that coming through, you expect, and then I take off my headphones as I'm done with the stream, and I hear the tornado alarm in my town going off. As far as I know, no tornado actually touched down here, but yeah, it was horrible for about an hour around here, and just threw my whole damn night off, and now my day's all screwy too. But it's been a good day. You figure it out. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button, guys, and please share your favorite YouTube creators' creations. Take our Frankenstein monsters out into the world and monster them to other people.
Somebody in the chat said, "Don't put dynamite inside of a well. It was tried, didn't go, it didn't end well."
Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I was referencing a very famous video of I think it's from the 80s or something, where a whale corpse ended up on a beach, and the local authorities had no idea how to get rid of it because it was gigantic and it was on the beach and the logistics were all screwed up. So they had the brilliant idea of stuffing it with dynamite to just blow it up and blow it out into the ocean because they put the charges at particular angles and stuff. The problem is it blew it straight up in the sky and there were chunks of whale falling on everybody and crushing cars and shit. Yeah, it was great.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much for the cat saying, "How's it going?" It's all right. Thanks for the donation.
From what I've seen, if you actually leave a whale on the beach long enough and those gases build up, you won't need dynamite.
Yeah, it'll explode anyway.
Yeah. So.
And no, I do not live in California. I was born there. Scribbles, what we got for news tonight?
Well, did you know that Chris Cillizza has a notice for Donald Trump?
I didn't, but this should be fun.
All right, because we have our favorite friend at CNN, Chris Cillizza, who says why women should really worry Trump.
Andrew Joyner, thank you, says, "Morning, everyone." Good morning.
Hello.
Who should be worried about Trump? Everyone?
Well, no, why women should really worry Trump, as in Trump should be worried about women.
Gotcha.
They exist
because they were so detrimental to him in the last election. I mean, I wonder if he'll address the fact that Trump is already president. He does. If President Donald Trump loses his bid for re-election this fall, he needs to look no further than women to grasp the root of his demise. So Chris is writing speculative fiction now. I guess that's not that much different than his usual fare.
Real quick, over on the Streamlabs. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I just finished a Twitter argument with this holier than thou. You're so pathetic for thinking like that sort of guy. So thanks for the calming stream. I do not promise it'll be calming, just entertaining.
Here's the thing, and I don't know if I'm off base when I say this. If Donald Trump loses the election, it's because he got fewer votes than the other guy, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, well,
votes.
I mean, theoretically speaking, it's because fewer people in the key places that needed to vote for him did not vote for him.
Fewer electoral votes. You can say it that way.
Yeah, okay. Fewer electoral votes. But since women vote more often than men, isn't any candidate who loses technically at the peril of women?
Yep.
For the most part, yeah.
This is kind of a really easy prediction on Chris's part. I mean, he can guess at motivation all he wants, and anybody can, and you'll always be right to some percentage, I suppose. But as far as the mechanics of how voting works, he's not taking any big risks here.
Well, does he ever?
No. I mean, in any other reasonable journalistic institution, he'd been let go a long time ago. But in that sense, he doesn't take any risks because there's no risks to take.
But he's the editor at large, son.
Oh yeah, he's something. The gender gap, the difference between which party and which candidate men and women support. Difference between which party and which candidate men. Okay, is at or near historic highs in several new national polls. In a Monmouth University poll, former Vice President Joe Biden holds a 19-point edge over Trump among women, a margin that fuels the Democrats' 11-point advantage in the overall ballot test. And in a new Pew poll of partisan affiliation, 56% of women now identify as Democrats or leaning Democratic, while just 42% of men say the same. That 14-point gender gap is, quote, as large as at any point in the past 2 decades, unquote, according to a Pew analysis of the data. Then there's this. In every presidential election, and Chris has bolded every presidential election, since 1984, women have made up a majority of all voters. Hey, I was right. Usually between 52% and 53% of the total vote. Okay. So because math, a grown adult wrote that. A grown adult journalist wrote this. So, because
wasn't you commenting that he actually wrote that?
No. He wrote that. I'm reading it. So, because math, Trump simply cannot afford to lose women to Biden by 19 points or anything close to that number and expect to win in 2020.
Yes, he can.
Unless he gets the electoral vote. I mean,
unfortunately for the incumbent, the trend line of his numbers among women does not look good.
Okay, but what was his numbers with women the last time?
Well, it's funny you asked that. The next sentence. Trump lost women by 13 points to Hillary Clinton.
Oh my God. Look, just get a hobby, man. Go find something else to do. This is not your thing. Like you really need to do something else.
Trump lost women by 13 points to Hillary Clinton in 2016, but managed to claw out an electoral college victory thanks to an 11-point edge among men. And Chris, the same or similar cannot happen again?
Nope.
Wasn't there a 12-point difference between men and women in Republican and Democrat?
This is a 14-point gender gap.
The one poll showing women identify as Democrats. Okay, maybe it was 14.
In a Monmouth University poll, former Vice President Joe Biden holds a 19-point edge over Trump among women, a margin that fuels the Democrats' 11-point advantage in the overall ballot test.
11-point, there was, okay.
All right, this is almost done. It's not a very long article because this doesn't take a whole lot of brain power, I suppose. 2 years later, as Democrats took back the House amid a backlash to Trump, women revolted against the president's party. Almost 6 in 10 women voted for the Democratic candidate for Congress, while just 40% voted for the Republican, a 19-point gap. Men voted for the Republican candidate, but far more narrowly than they had chosen Trump. 51% Republican, 47% Democratic. Those gender splits look remarkably, italics, similar to Monmouth's latest findings. Biden has a 19-point edge among women, while Trump has just a 3-point margin among men. Simply put, if these numbers hold, Trump will lose. And given all the water under the bridge between women and Trump, it will not be easy to convince any decent-sized chunk of female voters to cast a ballot for him. Now, here's his point. This is the... Before you get to his point, thank you, Snubber. People are trying to cancel Hugh Jackman because he tweeted someone hugging a cop. Thank you for the donation. I'm sorry, Scribbles. His point. His point. The point, don't overthink the coming election. I just want to hover on that. There's more. There's one more part of the next sentence, but I just want to hover on that statement from Chris Cillizza, analyst, editor at large at CNN. Don't overthink the coming election. What did I just read? Did I just read a whole litany of polls and statistics and percentages and predictions?
Yeah, well, he's saying don't do it because he got you.
Yeah, don't overthink the coming election. If the president loses women by north of 15 points, the math just doesn't add up for him.
What was it in 2016?
13.
All right. So, Chris, I hate to tell you this, but the way our system works, that doesn't matter. Every woman in California this time could go for Trump. And if all of the electoral votes go the same, go for Biden. It won't fucking matter.
Yeah.
He also puts a lot of emphasis on the midterms, which are not a good way to judge presidential elections. Never have been, never will be.
All right. Well, moving on.
And before we move on, I do want to comment on what Snub said there a moment ago. I'm not surprised people are giving Hugh Jackman shit for a picture of somebody hugging a cop. It's just, is anybody shocked by that?
Nope.
That some people would? No. I mean, even if this wasn't going on, some people would. So.
Tall person, thank you. People are trying to cancel Sean Gordon Murphy because he tweeted that he wants looting to end. I'm not sure who he is, but again, not surprised.
I have no idea who Sean Gordon Murphy is. I know some, was it an ESPN sportscaster or something? He made a tweet where he used the phrase "all lives matter," and so he resigned because of backlash the next day or something. And he was responding to some some sports star that had used the hashtag Black Lives Matter, and he responded with like, hey, haven't talked to you in a long time, but all lives matter, etc. And so that became like he has to resign over that.
That Murphy fella is apparently a comic writer, tall person tells us.
Oh, comic writer for whom or what? Who? Well, the president made a speech today, or a statement today, about George Floyd's death. And I mean, not Donald Trump, but the president, Barack Obama. Mr. President, former president.
Before you get into that, thank you, Toxic Nightshade. Just got here. Don't know what's going on. Just wanted to throw a few of my hubby's dollars at you. I feel like I'm her personal stripper on her husband's dime.
Whoa!
Sorry, that came out all kinds of wrong.
Is Nightshade living in Mississippi?
Came out all kinds of wrong. Nightshade, please still love me.
No, it's too late.
Now,
But thank you for the donation.
Better hope the husband doesn't hear that one.
Searching for the refund button.
It's probably what they've been fighting over.
Obama,
guys. Okay.
Am I good?
No. But you
no?
can read.
Okay. All right.
You're not good, but you can read. I've heard you do it. You had the idea of littering bodies. I feel like that's not good.
There's a
That's
phrase
evil.
There's a phrase that comes to mind: "Damned with faint praise."
You're also you've said you'd be a Sith instead of a Jedi, so you're evil.
Sith aren't necessarily evil.
Oh, stop it!
There was
I'm not necessarily black.
Well, are you voting for Biden or aren't you?
Yeah, thank you.
That's the litmus test.
Thank you, Toxic Nightshade, who says I don't have daddy issues. LOL. Thank you for the donation.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Obama urges young black people to, quote, feel hopeful even as you may feel angry, unquote, after George Floyd's death. Former President Barack Obama on Wednesday personally thanked protesters in the streets across the nation. Okay, if you mean just the protesters, okay. Following the death of George Floyd, and urged young African Americans to, quote, feel hopeful even as you may feel angry, unquote, because he feels change is coming.
I don't.
This reminds me of just what we did with Chris Cillizza. You could say to anything in this country, change is coming. There will be changes to police procedures and policies, etc. Eventually, somehow. Anything you could cite as a change is a change. Unless you're going to do some like massive legislative shift or something in the near future, or even if it happens 10 years from now, change would have been coming.
Well,
Pincalo, thank you. Greetings from the road. Be safe out there.
Unless we're talking about changing human behavior, I doubt it.
Yeah. In a hopeful speech, Obama said that the significant events over the last months, including the protests over the killing of Floyd and the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, represent, quote, the kinds of epic changes in our country that are as profound as anything I have seen in my lifetime, unquote. Okay. Obama cheered the protesters throughout the online event and urged them to keep going. Quote, I know enough about that history to say there is something different here, Obama said, referring to the protests of the 1960s. Mm-hmm. Sorry to interject again. The protests of the 1960s had a very, very specific set of grievances and a very specific end goal that they were fighting for. Civil rights legislation, changes in law, etc. What? Okay. And
he actually had a point in what he said there. Real quick, Anger, Illinois, and thank you. Did he have a teleprompter for this speech? If. Actually, no, he had talking points on his screen. You could tell by the way he was reading it.
All right, I'll finish the quote and see if he gets to it. Quote, you look at those protests as in the 1960s, and that was a far more representative cross-section of America out on the streets, peacefully protesting, who felt moved to do something because of the injustices that they have seen. That didn't exist back in the 1960s, that kind of broad coalition.
Yeah, what he was talking about it's what I mentioned the other day, kind of jokingly, but not really, about how if you look back at the 60s protest, mm-hmm. The civil rights protests, at least, not the Vietnam ones, but the civil rights ones, mm-hmm. It was a very largely black audience. The people there, they were all black. You look at what's going on the last few days. It's a decent mix of white and black down there.
Sure.
Extremely.
That's what he was talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that point, I'll agree. But the protests, I mean, the diversity of the protesters still doesn't, to me, like, I mean, the guy who killed George Floyd is arrested. And we'll talk about this in a minute. The other cops have now been charged. They didn't get away with it. There wasn't a cover-up, etc. So if it's about George Floyd's death, what exactly are they protesting to have happen that hasn't already happened?
Well, a conviction, most likely, because,
Well, but then, I mean, and I, fingers crossed, because I don't think the video really leaves a whole lot of room for maneuvering there. But all the same, being pragmatic, mob anger should not fuel the criminal justice system. That's the whole point we have it there. It's an insulator between emotion and process. So what are the protesters hoping to achieve in regards to George Floyd at this point?
Well, here's an interesting thing about that. Even though it shouldn't, and it probably won't at the end of the day, once they get all the facts together and if they decide to convict these people, it'll be because the courts did it. But that don't mean that they won't take it as we did it, guys. Like, they're still going to take it that way. Like, see, it was all because of us. The law had nothing to do with it. The law is racist, and the whole, United States is racist. Everything about it is racist, but somehow we changed all of it and got them convicted.
Yeah, I mean, if there had been protests after a trial and the guys got off light or something else like that, then I would see some rationale for it. But just on the basis of everything that should have happened has happened. Now, if you wanted to say something like, why did it take a month and a half for the guys who shot Ahmaud Arbery to be even looked at or investigated or anything, you'd have a point there, because they just basically got to walk free for all that time and everything else without even a second look. But in the case of George Floyd, it's hard for me to imagine a situation where a cop, having killed somebody in their custody, wasn't as quickly arrested and charged as this guy. So I'm still kind of confused as to what the ultimate goal of the protest is.
Will Forge, thank you. Riots are cough cure. Who knew?
I'm going to talk about the protest. I'm talking about the rioters. I'm talking about the people who are actually peacefully protesting. What is, and I don't know. I honestly don't. And all the other noise, maybe I missed it. What is being demanded as a part of the actual peaceful, not riot protest in regards to George Floyd?
Well, mainly police reform.
Okay.
Dealing with that, like actually going through, and the cops that are doing this stuff, have them be held accountable for the stuff that they're doing, which is a fat chance. But
well, yeah, no, I'm not going to say that what happened in the George Floyd case is typical of what happens to cops. So on that point, I could agree. There are a lot of instances where cops do exceedingly questionable or outright ridiculously illegal things by any sort of
that don't result in murder, that just get kind of brushed under the
right.
Just like,
okay, so on that score, I could say I could agree with that one. But specifically to George Floyd, I'm not quite sure, short of some kind of vigilante something going on, what at this point they could ask for more than what's already happened.
Well, like I said, if you don't pay attention to the fringes and you actually pay attention to the people who are genuine about this and really like, that's the main deal. It's like reform. We just want to not have to fear for our lives in situations like this, and we want it for everybody, not just Black people. We want cops to do their job. We want them to actually protect and serve. And that's the goal, at least for the genuine people out there who are really looking for some type of change, at least.
Okay, I can agree with that.
I have a couple of super chats. Thank you, Caramon, who says, I hope we don't have to plant a bunch of freedom seeds over these morons. Watering those seeds takes resources we shouldn't have to spend, or we shouldn't want to spend. And John Migda, thank you, says the man who drone striked against U.S. citizens.
Yeah, well, I'll read a little bit more. Quote, now I want to speak directly to the young men and women of color in this country who have witnessed too much violence and too much death, and too often some of that violence has come from folks who are supposed to be serving and protecting you. I want you to know that I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that your lives matter, that your dreams matter. Then Obama pivoted to his family, saying that when he goes home and looks, quote, at the faces of my daughters, Sasha and Malia, and I look at my nephews and nieces, I see limitless potential that deserves to flourish and thrive without having to worry about what is going to happen when you walk to the store or go for a jog or driving down the street or looking at some birds in a park, unquote. I don't know if you're going to be able to police Karens. I'm just saying. I mean, everything else, yeah, in general terms, sure, but I think Karens are here to stay, unfortunately.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
Anything else on that, or shall I?
Yes. One, his little talk there was mostly nonsense, and by nonsense, I don't mean he was like blabbering and didn't make coherent sentences. I just meant it was just him giving. It was almost like listening to an Obama speech back in the day, like he was gone into politician mode. He didn't really propose anything except following some recommendations that have been put together by a panel he had imposed. Mm-hmm. And he's imploring that governors and mayors across the country look into those. So, I mean, he did do that, but otherwise it was nothing specific. Yeah. But even more jarring to me is I went to watch it on YouTube, and before I watched it, there was a Joe Biden ad.
Oh, right.
And Joe Biden was so, just in the ad, so stuttery and just seemed out of it, that as soon as it cuts over to Obama talking, it's just like, oh, they should make sure these two things never go together.
Yeah, because I mean, even Obama can make even the most empty platitudes sound really meaningful and really sort of resonant and everything else. He just has that ability, he has that charisma. And then you look at Joe, and it's like, Well,
look what he ran on. Obama ran on one word, change, which could literally mean anything. Like, it could literally mean anything in the world. He said, change is going to happen. Change could have meant, as soon as I become president, I am setting this entire country on fire. Like, could have meant anything. But he ran with it, and it took him to the fucking presidency.
That's all.
Let's see. So in other news, I guess, you guys like ice cream?
Yeah.
Do you like Ben and Jerry's ice cream?
Not really, actually. I find their ice cream to be bad.
I like the one called Everything But The. It's like vanilla ice cream with like caramel bits and like peanut butter. It's like everything but the kitchen sink. It's got all types of stuff in it. It's like hot toffee, and it tastes brilliant. I love it. That's the only one of theirs that I really like, and I don't have it more than like maybe once a year or something. But that all aside, why Ben and Jerry's statement on white supremacy is so extraordinary. You guys ready for this?
Sure.
You all ready for this? All right. Let there be no doubt where Ben and Jerry's stands. Oh my God. The ice cream maker, let's let that hang for a second, has called on Americans to, quote, dismantle white supremacy and, quote, grapple with the sins of our past, unquote, as nationwide protests against racial injustice stretch into their 8th day. In a forceful statement posted to the company's website late on Tuesday, Ben & Jerry's describes the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man, at the hands of a white police officer as the result of, quote, inhuman police brutality that is perpetuated by a culture of white supremacy, unquote. Quote, what happened to George Floyd was not the result of a bad apple. It was the predictable consequence of a racist and prejudiced system and culture that has treated black bodies as the enemy from the beginning, unquote. Companies including Nike, Netflix, Twitter, Disney, Facebook, and Intel have condemned racism and injustice in recent days. Oh, so brave. Guys, you know racism's bad and injustice is bad? We take a strong stance as a corporation that racism is bad. Oh boy. But the statement from Ben & Jerry's is unusually comprehensive and direct, addressing the historical roots of discrimination in the United States and calling out systemic racism while advocating specific policies to prevent further police abuses and redress racial inequality. Oh, they have a plan, huh? Quote, slavery, Jim Crow, and segregation were systems of legalized and monetized white supremacy for which generations of black and brown people paid an immeasurable price. That cost must be acknowledged, and the privilege that accrued to some at the expense of others must be reckoned with and redressed, the company said. So, reparations then? Let's see. So, Ben & Jerry's, which also publicly supported the Black Lives Matter movement, called on President Donald Trump to disavow white supremacists and nationalist groups that, quote, overtly support him, unquote. Hasn't he done that?
Sure. Yeah.
I thought he did at some point early on in the
process. Yeah, he did actually. Snubber, thank you. Sins of the Father people are one tier away from pedophiles on the degenerate scale.
Let's see. The ice cream maker. Yeah. Okay. Also called for the U.S. Department of Justice, excuse me, to reinvigorate its civil rights division and for Congress to pass H.R. 40, a bill that would create a commission to study the effects of discrimination since African slaves first arrived in North America in 1619 and recommend remedies.
That's so Obama. I was thinking, I'm sorry, as I was watching Obama today, he was talking about, the recommendations of this commission he put together. Everything that happened, Obama was like, we're going to put together a commission and stare at this.
Mm-hmm.
We have the historical record, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, there's been no history, no books written, no research done on that subject ever,
There's Hollywood movies about it, for fuck's sake. Pop one in if you need a refresher. Okay, I'm sorry.
Anyway, just a really strong stance from the ice cream maker.
We need a commission.
I'll just drop to the bottom. So Unilever, the company that actually owns Ben & Jerry's, CEO Alan Jope also commented on the issue, quote, systemic racism and social injustice have to be eradicated.
Impossible.
Yep.
Business has a critical role to play in creating an equitable society which is intolerant of intolerance. Then, okay, why is the racial demographic makeup at Twitter or Facebook still so tilted in one direction? I mean, I did a video on this where they had to very, in some shame, reveal their statistics in their demographics at their businesses over the last 5 years of initiatives to diversify and become more equitable, and they still had to sort of hide the fact that their African American employment numbers are still below 1% or something. What are corporations supposed to be doing unless you're telling them to hire people because of their race? What are companies going to do? Why would you say that companies are going to change? Should companies be in charge of instituting new legislation any more than we already allow them to do?
What it comes down to, you're never going to be able to get rid of everything.
No, I mean, setting aside the systemic racism part for a second, let's just talk about social injustice. How do you define social injustice? Someone having more than someone else? When has that ever been the case? And even when they tried to make it not the case, the Politburo didn't have more than everybody else?
Thank you, Cult of Krill. If Ben & Jerry's truly believes that Black Lives Matter, why do they donate to Planned Parenthood? Look, just because more black babies were aborted in New York City last year than born doesn't mean that the group started by a racist eugenicist bitch actually hates black people. Thank you, Ginger Snap. Cherry Garcia is my favorite ice, and I haven't bought it in years because of their politics. Like, if you liked it that much, I'd still buy it. I don't care about their politics. I just think their ice cream is shit. I talk about their politics here when it comes to. I mean, I know there's people vote with your wallet, and I guess I support that too. But look, M&Ms could come out tomorrow and say something horrendous, and I'm still eating peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, because the politics are of those individuals. If the company has politics, it's just because the owners say so and the employees don't have a choice. So if I'm buying ice cream, I don't feel like I'm supporting a political movement. I'm just buying ice cream. So anyway, that's all the stories I had. We've gone over time
anyway. That moves us on to MSS News time. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a story you want us to take a look at. Hit us up at the hashtag MSS News on the Twitter machine, and we'll do our best to get to them, but we can't because I'm reading.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times that one story is going to pop up in here. One that's been spammed in chat 40 times, Nico.
What's that?
You know what? I'll just grab that story. Where the hell was it? I've had this story sent to me over and over and over again. Let me find one of them.
See, now read your chat real quick.
You know what? I'll just do it anyway. Darth Victicus did no evil. Hello from the past. Hi, Twisted Skipster.
Vectivus. Vectivus was a banker. Vectivus did not do anything. He wasn't like some kind of evil prophet or anything. His road to power dealt with money and finance and stuff. And so far as the histories say, he didn't really do anything super diabolical. He was working, below the surface. He's basically just a capitalist. And if you want to call that evil, well, then you're calling America evil, monkey.
There's capitalists who are evil.
Well, you're true, but just by itself it isn't.
I don't have the story, but it was found out that according to the autopsy report, George Floyd had COVID-19.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that, didn't we? Like, that's oh no. Are they going to call it a COVID-19 death?
I'm sure they're going to count it as one either way.
If he had died in Illinois, yes, he would technically right now be classified as a COVID death.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I made that joke on Twitter, and yeah, we made that joke here, and so okay. Man goes berserk in Colwood, BC after drive-through forgets mustard on burger. This one comes to us from Peter Stewart. There we go. Victoria, a man flew into a violent rage at a Vancouver Island Wendy's after staff forgot to put mustard on his burger, according to police. Wendy's staff members called police after the man exited his car and began striking a plexiglass barrier that separates the restaurant takeout window. The West Shore Royal Canadian Mounted Police say the incident occurred roughly at 9 p.m. Tuesday. The suspect got out of his car and came up to the drive-through window and began yelling at the staff while he smashed the plexiglass barrier and completely ripped it off the wall.
Jeez.
This dude likes his mustard.
Mm-hmm.
Before leaving, the suspect threw the plexiglass barrier underneath another vehicle in the parking lot. Police are investigating the incident as a case of mischief and causing a disturbance. No Wendy's staff members were injured. Mounties are asking the public with help identifying the man. There's no picture of the man. It's not like they have a closed caption TV here, not closed circuit TV, not closed caption.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they're going to find him other than like he's bragging about beating up a Wendy's. Yeah, my friend told me he beat up a Wendy's. Eh? Oh, God. People they get a little too mad about that kind of stuff. People, I know when you go to your fast food places and they get it wrong, it gets annoying. Just go ask them to fix it. They'll fix it for you. Be polite. Right? It's like, hey, this was messed up. Could you fix it? The end. This one comes from Jedi Ghost Bear. Spain porn star held after man dies in toad venom ritual. fuck is a toad venom ritual?
Well, a ritual that involves toxic toads, I guess.
Over on the Streamlabs, before we get to the story, thank you, Sanguine. The problem is every time Trump does condemn them, the media paraphrases, lies, crops, and just straight up admits the words to make it sound like he supports them, like with the very fine people bullshit that leaves the bit about them being condemned totally. I'm guessing leaves off the bit about them being condemned totally. Yeah. They said there's actually people out there, Trump has never condemned the KKK. There's actually video of him doing that. He said that there were very fine people that out there protest. No, he made a separation between these shitty racist people and the people who were just there saying, hey, I don't think this statue should be torn down. And that's what he was. Go ahead.
And what's hilarious about that is that doesn't even matter. Like it's completely irrelevant because once you tell them that it does exist, like this is a thing. He did say that. Like your whole stance right now, the fact that you were as angry as you were was supposed to be because he had never said it, right? That was your issue. He had never said it. He should. And I'm like, he did. Here it is right here. And they're like, well, that doesn't matter because blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, but that was the whole reason you were upset.
Yeah. Or he's just saying that for cover or something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he would say that. Like you just said that he should have said that and that he wouldn't say it, but he did. So that completely destroyed your narrative. So now you're just like, well, I'll go to my backup narrative then. I'm like, you're a fucking piece of shit, and I want to hit you with a steel chair.
Madrid, a porn star has been arrested on manslaughter charges following a man's death during a mystic ritual in which he inhaled psychedelic toad venom. Spanish police said Wednesday. Oh, Nacho Vidal.
Nacho Vidal's dead?
That's who the porn star is.
Oh, he's been wow, I know that name.
Was detained last week. I just love the name Nacho in Spain.
I know, right?
That's actually an American thing. People think it's Mexican. It's American. Nachos are Mexican, y'all. Or American, sorry.
Yeah.
But nacho and Spanish, it just goes together. All right. He was arrested in connection with the death of the man in July of 2019. Media identified the victim as fashion photographer Jose Luis Abad.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, wait. Oh, wow. You got to scroll way down to get to more of this story. The police operation began following the victim's death during the celebration of a mystic ritual based on the inhalation of venom of the Bufo alvarius frog or toad. The toad, a rare species which is native to the Sonoran Desert, stretching from northern Mexico into California and Arizona, secretes venom containing a very powerful natural psychedelic substance known as 5-MeO-DMT. Oh, does anybody know where Joe Rogan was? But yeah, following an 11-month inquiry, police arrested Vidal, one of his relatives, and an employee on suspicion of manslaughter and crimes against public health. So there you are. He was helping this dude huff frog secretions. And the guy died. Let's see, what else do we have here? All right. This one comes to us from Frosted Glass. Can you guess the source?
As a medium?
No. I just like doing that because I saw this one was Vice and not Medium, and I knew that's what you'd guess.
Oh.
And I wanted you guys to be wrong.
Oh, you're a jerk.
I know. How to talk to your relatives who care more about looting than Black lives.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like David Dorn, right? Oh, no, not that one.
Step 1, ask them why they care about this more. Step 2, respond to them saying they don't. You just made that accusation.
Oh, man. The past week in the United States has been a rough one. Thank you, Caramon. And where do I find these toads? In the desert in California, they said. Good luck finding one. I don't know what it looks like. In the past week, the United States, has been it has sparked a seemingly endless succession of Black death and police brutality. What?
Endless succession?
Wait, did I miss a whole lot of Black people getting killed?
Uh,
Some people, though, appear to be far more worried about the fate of a Nordstrom or Target than that of actual human lives of protesters and, the Black Americans who are suffering at the hands of law enforcement and the justice system, who the protesters are showing up to honor and demand justice for.
uh-huh.
Protesters, sure, but protesters didn't go into that Target. Those were rioters. Shoehorn Plenty, thank you. Nacho is short for Anastasio? I don't think so. Nacho's a cheese you put on chips and makes them wonderful. But thank you for the donation. If you, a non-Black person, know that Black Lives Matter, but your parents or other relatives fall squarely into the camp of, quote, I support their right to protest as long as they don't do it, or as long as they do it on my specific terms. And yeah, I think Colin Kaepernick was doing it wrong. What of it? Well, you've got your work cut out for you. Wow, this guy has a whole lot of thoughts of what other people think.
Yep.
It's your responsibility to talk to them and do what you can to change their minds, or at least let them know in the strongest possible terms that you agree with the protesters that police violence against Black people is unacceptable and Black people have a right to safe and healthy lives. Except David Dorn. This is what allyship means in practice, doing the work by taking some of the burden off marginalized folks fighting for their lives. For all those Black folks that come over to your dad's house for pizza on Saturday and your dad launches into racist screeds, you're going to take the burden off him. Know your shit. It's really hard to defend something you don't totally understand, particularly when it feels like a thorny subject. If your relatives are wringing their hands over the fate of that poor small business CVS and you don't know what to say, I strongly recommend reading Vicky Ostervale, I don't know how you say her name, 2014 essay in defense of looting in the New Republic. It corrects the myths that peaceful protest is the only way to successfully fight for civil rights and explains the connection between property, anti-looting discourse, and white supremacy. Wait, if you don't loot, you're a white supremacist?
I sit on the fence on that one. What?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's news to me.
I'm skipping down to his next thing. Know your audience. You know your relatives best. What are their values? What do they care about the most? You just told me all they care about is their stuff. For example, if they're Christian, it might make sense to talk about this through the lens of their faith and the way Jesus believed in standing up for the vulnerable. I remember that Bible passage when Jesus went and looted the whole bunch of shit and burned shit down.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you go in there against somebody who actually knows their faith, you can get your ass kicked trying that one. Ginger Snap, thank you. You know how I get rid of people like this? I voted for W twice, and they walk away. Focus on what they are saying and doing instead of who they are as a person. In her book, Why Won't You Apologize? Therapist Harriet Lerner writes about how the greater an offense is, the more difficult it is for the wrongdoer to feel remorse. You're talking about somebody who says that it's not okay to steal.
Yeah.
Are some of them racist? Sure. I've run into a few of those myself. Is that everybody? No. And what you read up top had nothing to do with that, you fucking silly son of a bitch. Caramon, thank you. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can top it, trust me. Angry Illinoisan, thank you. This person has written a story on them being treasonists. Really? Let's see. Be willing to share your own growth with them. Tell you how you became one of the good ones. Say in no uncertain terms that you disagree with what they're saying. I seriously want to talk to somebody like this. And there's a lot more to this. I'm not reading all this nonsense. It's Vice, and they're fucking retarded anyway. But I seriously would. I would like to sit down and talk to them about the idea that property is more important than lives, and ask them what they think of David Dorn. David Dorn went to defend his friend's property and got killed for it. Are we at least allowed to say that looting wasn't okay?
Nope. He was a necessary sacrifice.
And I don't care what color he is. That's what he went down there to do. And yes, he was a black man. He used to be a police chief. Irrelevant. A man died trying to defend this property that you guys needed so much to affect positive change. Is that okay? Joe Faps, thank you. The pronoun platoon has taken over Twitter. They've been well entrenched for a while. And Blake Becker, thank you. Psalms 144:1, my favorite passage, especially going to the military. I'm not familiar. I'm not up on my Bible as much as I used to be, but I do know that Jesus was not looting and rioting. In fact, he was a turn the other cheek kind of guy.
I got the perfectly crafted SJW retort.
Okay.
Killed them anyway.
They did.
They still killed them. So there you go.
Sanguine, thank you. I miss when shitty fake psychics just signed on under Lady Chloe. Oh, do you mean Madam Chloe or Madam Cleo? Rather than becoming a even shittier hack writers for news organizations with a true positive rate lower, even in hindsight, than she had making shit up as a premonition.
That was Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo, yes. Miss Cleo.
Call me now.
All right, moving on. That's frosting. Colleen sent me the porn one. There's the COVID thing. Oh. No.
Okay.
This one was sent from Shrouded Angel. Just the headline is like, woman's vibrator becomes expensive dog toy with pets enjoying it more than her.
Why?
Why is this news?
Why? Just why?
Blake, thank you. Praise be to the Lord, my rock, who trains my body for war, my fingers for battle. Thank you. I'm supposing that's the psalm. Jesus still didn't loot. A woman was crying tears of laughter when her dog started chasing her vibrator around the room.
Huh.
Why was your dog able to get to your vibrator, sweetie? Am I the only one with that question?
Do you want the actual answer? Is what
No, because there's probably a jar of peanut butter involved somewhere.
Oh,
Chloe
gross.
Jones, 23, forked out 45 pounds for the Morgasm Plus bullet vibrator and had just charged it when her two pooches, Reginald and Bobby Brown, became fascinated by it. Chloe was testing the device's different settings when one of her Cocker Spaniels pushed his nose up against the object, explaining that, oh God, so many jokes there. Quote, he was like, what the hell? Because it was really vibrating. Within seconds, the dogs were running wild around the bedroom, barking excitedly, especially when Cleo put it on the floor, leaving it to jump around. Cleo from Bridge North in Shropshire, and I know that's sure, you weird British people, stop spelling it Shire and I'll stop saying it that way, had no idea they were going to react to it in this way and was lucky to catch the hilarious moment on video. She said if people want to pay $40 for a dog toy, they should, because they would love it. It doesn't have to be this kind of toy, just so long as it vibrates. Yeah, there's video. She bought herself a green speckled dick looking thing. By all means, watch it, guys. There's other dog toys. What's this one? Oh, that's a Babylon Bee headline. Okay. Nation's racists repent after reading statement on equality from Hidden Valley Ranch. That's it. Look, this is one of those things. Hidden Valley. I won't support anything they say that's stupid, and I didn't see their statement, but I'm not stopping with Hidden Valley Ranch. That's my crack, y'all. It's the one true ranch.
Yeah. Hidden Valley's the shit, yo.
Okay. This one is from Ramen Lewis. Which Green Lantern are you based on your zodiac?
I don't know.
I don't know enough about Green Lantern to know if this is meaningful, but I'll go through them real quick. The weird thing is there's only 10? Aren't there 12 signs to the zodiac?
13, I think. Something like that.
No, it's 10. It's 12. It's one for each month.
I thought there was like a revised 13th one, or I don't know, whatever.
Anyway, number 10 would be Alan Scott if you're a Leo, Hal Jordan if you're Scorpio, Guy Gardner if you're Aries, John Stewart if you're Virgo. Apparently he was a virgin. Kilowog makes you a Capricorn if you're Capricorn. Mago if you're Libra. Kyle Rayner, I say it Rayner,
I think. Yeah, Rayner.
Is Aquarius. Simon Boz is Taurus. Jessica Cruz for Pisces, and Sojourner Mullion is Sagittarius. Was Cancer?
Cancer should be in there somewhere.
It wasn't. Yeah, they missed a few. So.
Cancer would be Sinestro.
And I don't mean to be dismissive there. I'm not much into. That's DC, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's DC, right? Oh boy.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Shit. But there, for those of you who are comic fans, I will throw the link into chat so you guys can read more about their reasonings and stuff. But I don't know these people, so I have no, what's the word? Attachment to it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be like you tell me which My Little Pony I am. I'm totally Big Dick Monkey Pony.
I bet that exists in somebody's fan art.
It should now.
Yeah.
Is that a story or is that just? Yep, that is a story. This is from W.R. Costin. Stop it. Stupid ad. Green Party leader calls on white Canadian women to riot and loot. Why?
Yeah. To what end?
Oh, God. Green Party leader calls on white Canadian women. Why Canadian? Is this a big problem in Canada? Joanne Roberts is referring to massive riots sweeping the U.S. after the cell phone video murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis by a white police officer. The interim head of the Green Party is calling on Canadian white women to start rioting and looting, saying that the cause is valid. Thank you. This is Kyle. I'm an Aquarius. Funny how that works. I'm sure it is. Joanne Roberts, we got that. The slaying has spawned a week-long series of riots across the U.S. that has seen police officers killed and wounded, billions of dollars of damage, and thousands of arrests, as well as innocent civilians killed. Let's not forget those people in all this, shall we? Canadian protests have been peaceful except for one in Montreal that led to looting. Black Lives Matter protesters also desecrated the Canadian War Memorial in Regina. Fellow white women, we need to step up. Stop calling the BLM protests looting and rioting, Roberts tweeted Tuesday. Repeat after me. There's no comfortable way to fight oppression. That's happening across the U.S. or what's happening across the U.S. and Canada is valid, right, and necessary. Get on board. Well, she's not necessarily calling for them to loot and riot. She's just calling on them to shut up about calling it out.
I don't know. I think She said, stop calling the looting and rioting, and then get on board. So she's like, don't call it that. Just join the party. It's like, oh, okay.
That's fair, I guess. Frank, thank you. Your story from last night blew through this afternoon. You weren't kidding. That storm was horrible. Yeah, it was bad. I just don't understand why Canada cares.
Virtue signaling?
I don't know enough about Canadian race relations to have a say on it. But it is weird to me watching people around the world protest something that happened here that has no real bearing on their society. You can't say 400 years of oppression in Britain. You got 4 black people.
Well, you can't say 400 years of oppression really anywhere.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it is the talking point here.
Unless you live in Africa, then you absolutely can.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure it's much higher than 400 at this point.
Yeah. They had protests in Australia. Like, why?
I don't know, man. I'm not going to say that I have a problem with seeing it. It is a little perplexing as to like, but maybe people are just tired of hearing about it over there too, I guess.
Maybe. Look, I support Brexit, but I ain't getting my ass out of this chair for it.
And that's the problem, white men.
All right, with that, we're going to wrap up MSS News. Guys, thanks for the stories. Sorry we didn't get to more, but it's just the wonderful problem we have to deal with on the show here with limited time. Time for YouTube. Satsu, what you been up to?
Nothing today. Well, that's wrong. I keep doing stuff that's connected to my channel, but not on my channel. So like, I actually bought some stuff that I'm going to be using for my cooking channel. Got some new tools and stuff that I think will be useful. That I will be using for my cooking channel. I did record another cooking video yesterday. I just haven't actually got on my computer and started doing anything with this stuff. I bought it and got the stuff and then recorded some footage. But as far as that concerned, I haven't done anything. I'm actually prepping to upload some new videos. It's going to be lots of uploads of VR content over on my gaming channel until we start streaming again. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to do the commentary, but expect some VR content coming out over there. As far as my main channel goes, because I have so much energy lately, as you guys can see, I've actually been uploading frequent videos on my Satsu 2 Cents channel, and I plan on keeping that going. So I actually have another video planned to come up on the Satsu 2 Cents channel that I was planning on doing today, but I'm going to have to do tomorrow. I'm a busy boy. You got a lot of shit going on over here. And I got a lot of energy now that I've been working out, which I'm probably going to start documenting that and letting you guys kind of see what's going on with that too. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. Got a lot of energy. I need to put it somewhere.
All right. And Scribbles, what you been up to?
Well, I did another TED Excellence today. This one was slam poetry, I guess. It's hard to say. It was someone who was doing a long-form slam poetry session, but ultimately just told us that she and her family don't get along. She doesn't feel comfortable in places because she's very self-conscious about her appearance, and everybody else, she knows what everybody else is thinking about her because of how she looks. And yeah, it was kind of, I mean, it was a very interesting, forceful profile of someone who has some very deep-seated personal problems. But this person is an educator and a revolutionary, and she doesn't separate those two things. She's a teacher of, I believe, either junior high or high school. Yeah, it was something. I mean, she was trying to be very, very profound about very high level issues, but really she was just giving us a profile of her own personal inner turmoil. That was bizarre. But hey, it's TEDx, so it's a mixed bag. Speaking of which, I want to thank Frosted Glass, because Frosted Glass did something that I had been contemplating doing myself, but has now saved me the trouble, and that is come up with a TEDx bingo card. that has on it all sorts of elements that seem to be very common in TEDx talks, and which I will be employing on the next TEDxcellence, I should say, which should be this weekend. It's going to be a long one, though, because it's a 20-minute long TEDx, which means it's going to be a lengthy dive on my part. So if we don't fill out that bingo card in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to be surprised. Other than that, that is all of my YouTube stuff.
All right. After the show yesterday, I went and did my game stream. That's the one that got interrupted by Mother Nature. Thank you for that. Then did a Monkey in the Morning and then another game stream and had fun on all of it. So that's all I did, which moves us on to the Humpatries. And Satsu, you got Humpatries tonight? Satsu?
Did we lose Satsu?
He's muted. Scribbles, you got Humpatry?
I do. Give me a second here because I wasn't prepared because I thought Satsu was going to go. Actually, you go first, Monkey. I'm sorry. I have to pay attention to something else real quick.
All right. Let's see. I have so much today. So much. Just a little bit ago, as the show was starting, Donald Trump tweeted out, probably the only thing Barack Obama and I have in common is that we both had the honor of firing Jim Mattis, the world's most overrated general. I asked for his letter of resignation and felt great about it. His nickname was Chaos, which I didn't like, and changed it to Mad Dog. Now, this all comes about because of General Mattis came out yesterday and talked shit about the way the president was handling this. Came out today and did that. I'm used to saying yesterday because of Monkey in the Morning.
Monkey doesn't know when he is.
I really don't. I've talked about it many times. That's what happens when you exist in the world between the world. Mattis came out and his statement is stupid. It's platitude garbage. And the press loved it, though. It's all over the place. The press loves that Mattis is ripping on the boss who fired him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These are the same people like, Tara Reid was fired by Biden. She probably has an axe to grind, which is kind of funny. Let's see. Chris Cuomo, we're going to start the real stuff with him because he said something. I don't know if this was yesterday or the day before, but it was posted to Twitter on the 2nd. And he said this on the air, and there's video. I've seen the video. This is a direct quote. Please show me where it says protesters are supposed to be polite and peaceful. Now, I can't tell you where it says polite.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you where it says peaceful. It's in the First Amendment. Peaceably assemble. That is your right. Anything past there, you would point to the local laws, where you're not allowed to burn shit. That's arson. You're not allowed to loot. That's stealing. Where does it say it, Chris? In the fucking law, you moron. Like all over the law. All over the law. But Chris can't figure that out. He's a moron. And where was his one from today? I wish these two had come up together. There we go. He said this just a little while ago. If you know the law, you would know what is out of order. You can lie and deny your role in fomenting tension, but too many know the truth. No one should want violence and lawlessness, but a leader should focus on what is happening to citizens, not just their reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
When their reaction to it is illegal, and we're not talking about peaceful protests being made illegal. We are talking about Donald Trump actually came out in his speech or his 7-minute statement the other day. He's like, those who are peaceful were with you. Those of you who are breaking the fucking law need to stop it.
Yeah, well, even when Trump says something reasonable, we can't pay attention to that. We have to give it the worst possible spin and take it out of context, etc.
But I just love the first part of that. If you know the law, you would know what is out of order. This is a man who wanted to quit his job and beat up a man for pointing out he was breaking his brother's order not to leave his house during the COVID crisis while he had COVID, supposedly.
Yeah.
He wanted to beat somebody up over that. He wanted to beat somebody up for calling him Fredo. And he's going to give you lessons about law and order. Fredo, shut the fuck up. Let's see. Caramon.
Sorry.
Yep. Caramon, thank you. Okay, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I told you, Caramon, I got you. I got tons of dumb for you. It's my specialty. I go out and find it, or it's sent to me, and then we laugh about it. Wendy's put this out today. They said, our voice would be nothing without Black culture. I want to point out, they said Black culture, not Black people.
Mm-hmm.
We can get rid of the Black people. We still have their culture, and that's okay. Anyway, our voice would be nothing without Black culture. Right now, a lot of people are hurting because of blatant racism against Black people. Their voices need to be heard, period. And seeing this virtue signal from Wendy's, I looked up the Wendy's board of directors. Can you guess how many are Black? I'll give you a hint. There's 11 people on the board. Guess how many are Black?
-4.
1.
1.
Oh.
They care a lot about the Black voice, not even enough to get them to the percentage of the population that they make up. And it is a Black man who is suspiciously light-skinned. That's all I'm saying.
Well, one thing I found out is that donation that was given was from a person who owned just a couple of the franchised locations.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't the head of the company or something like that.
Well, let's let anybody who missed that from before, there was a backlash against Wendy's because of donations to the Trump campain, right? Or
right.
the GOP.
Yeah, one of the big wigs, $400,000. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just like, if you're going to play the virtue signal game, I can do that. I know your tactics. I know what you guys look at. And you don't have enough Black people on your board to be talking like this. I'm sorry. You need to turn over your shit to Black people so their voice can be heard.
That's right.
Oh, wait, you don't want to play that game? Yeah. It's not as fun when I do it. There was a lady filmed yelling at police that she would fuck anybody who quit their police job as long as they did it that day. I don't know what day that was, whether that was today or yesterday.
I don't know if I want to give my health insurance on that bet.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This bitch thinks that her pussy is better than a police salary?
Yeah. Unless you think I'm kidding, guys, here is the video in the chat. She is screaming, I will fuck anybody who quits their police job. This offer is open through midnight tonight, she says.
Did we ever actually see the woman?
No, but she gets into a little conversation with a cop who I don't know if he called her a prostitute. I didn't exactly hear what he said, but it sounded something to the effect that he's married, so he doesn't use prostitutes or something. And she starts going off about how police rape prostitutes all the time. Which, I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it seems a weird thing to give it up to a rapist, sweetie.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. What else do we have here? I know I have a couple more. Oh, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam. He's going to take down the Confederate statue of General Lee.
Yay!
And you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care anymore. Burn it all down. Get rid of all of the history. I don't care. But what did really jump out at me? What really jumped out at me, besides black shoe polish Northam here deciding to do this, is when he decided to do it. And the fact that nobody in the press was like, it's weird that he decided to do this now and not 2 weeks ago. You blatant pandering like this. Are you kidding? And it's just, oh, look how great he's being. And people cheering. Okay, let's say you agree with it. Why was it okay he didn't do this last month? Last year? He's been there a while. Why was this not one of his top priorities instead of changing gun laws in Virginia when the new assembly came in? It's almost as though it's transparent pandering.
Monkey, did you see a picture of this chick?
No, I hadn't seen her. Serenity Star generally hated slavery, if I remember right. He said he was against it. He still had slaves. He didn't join the Southern Army because of slavery. He joined it because his home in Virginia. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about historical figures here. They're not going to be in any way politically correct by our terms today. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to hit on? Yeah, we'll do this one real fast. Oh no, I have so many more. All right, Satsu, I'll let you go. Do you have anything for fucketry?
I was looking at some of the responses to the Hugh Jackman thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, these people are ridiculous. I don't understand. The comment that I left is if you're mad, like actually upset when you see a picture of unity, then you might just be the bigot, intolerant, hate-filled person that you hate. Like you just that might be you. And the only reason this picture could make you actually upset is if you don't actually want anything to change. You're just saying that you do, which is probably the case. I saw what memorial do we have over here for our military? Like which one did they fuck up and spray paint all over? It was the
World War II memorial.
World War II memorial. That's really fucked up to look at. Like that's I saw because I had heard people talking about it or whatever, and I don't know, man. That's really fucked up. And then I saw there was some place where there was like an obelisk or something. Not an obelisk. Is it an obelisk?
Yeah.
That people were talking about they wanted to knock down, and the governor of that place, I believe it was the governor, said, "Hey, leave it alone. If you guys agree not to come over here as a mob and knock it down, we'll just take it down." And they did. And I was like, I mean, what do you say to that? Are you gonna be mad about it? He stopped them from rioting, I guess. And it's down now, so yay! I fucking know. Other than that, just business as usual, man. Kind of same old shit. Nothing really new. Just kind of reiterating arguments that had already happened. There was a picture that they put up of a black cop with his knee on a white person, and they said, "How different would it be then?" And I'm like, it wouldn't be news. Nobody would be talking about it. Nobody would be rioting. It'd just be another story, you know? That's
Wendy's wouldn't be telling me about the importance of white voices.
Yeah, they absolutely wouldn't be. That's for sure. Also, a lot of people have been sending me companies like Pokemon, Nintendo, the Pokemon company, and fucking IGN and Sony and all these other places, like company after company. Call of Duty actually put out, not Call of Duty, Infinity Ward, I believe. There's no place for racist content in our game. This is an effort we began to launch that to do a better job in eliminating racism from our platform. We are issuing thousands of daily bans to racist and hate-oriented names, but we know we have to do more, and we are. So this is what they're going to do. Adding additional resources to monitor and ID racist content, adding additional in-game reporting systems to increase the number of bans per hour, adding filters and greater restrictions on name changes, evaluating in-game improvements to make it easier to report offenses, and increasing permanent bans to root out repeat offenders. So yeah, like everybody, and people are like, what do you think about that? I'm like, dude, like I said, there is no company out here, no company that wants to be the company that's not doing this pandering. Like,
even if you've supported it before, like no company wants to be the company that's not doing this, because somebody's going to be like, hey, what about you? You think Black Lives Matter? And they're going to have to anyway. So they're just like, fuck it, let's get it out the way. The big wigs are like, just whip up something. Get one of the Negroes in the lower office to whip something up. God damn it, we need to fucking get this out of the way so we don't get hit. And that's basically what it's been. Just a huge wave of that. So, same old.
All right, Scribbles, did you find what you needed?
Yep. Sorry, I got roped in by work for a couple minutes there. Let's see. So, what did I have? Well, there's a picture of a little girl going around who's holding up a sign that obviously her mother made for her because she doesn't look more than about 5, if that. And it's got an arrow pointing up. So the girl's holding the sign up. It's got an arrow pointing up, effectively pointing at her. And it says, privileged, hashtag Black Lives Matter. And the tweet that it's attached to says, my daughter helping to show our solidarity.
Everybody's privileged. Literally every human being on earth can put that sign next to them because every single person is privileged.
And then the other thing I had today, or a couple things. So somebody named Mark Levine, I guess he's a guy. Mm-hmm. He says, let's be clear about something. If there is a spike in coronavirus cases in the next 2 weeks, don't blame the protesters, blame racism. And I don't really have a response to that. That just kind of makes me go, oh. I do. Well, it's my time.
That was going to be one of my ones that I got to if there's time left over, because there was a story that came out just today that a guy who had tested positive for corona and had been told not to go out was at one of these protests. But don't worry, guys, it's racism, not him.
There you go.
Is it my fuckatry time?
If you want me to keep going, I can.
It's your show.
Pincalo, thank you so much. I get more racism in COD from POC players than anyone. You'd have to just define the races. Remember, we have tiers of it down here.
Chris Saliza's personal Igor Harry Enton tweeted this out today. State polls from Fox and QPAC have Biden doing an average 9 points than Clinton. Monmouth has Biden doing 9 points better than Clinton nationally. And I said, real headline, Hillary Clinton beaten in polls by mentally deteriorating old man 4 years after she lost the presidency. Like, what more am I supposed to take from that tweet? I thought for a second, I thought he was on Mars or something. Like, why are you caring what Biden is doing compared to Clinton? Clinton's not even part of this. Oh, he's doing better than Clinton. Wait a second. That should be more embarrassing to Clinton, shouldn't it?
It should, but this is the holdout. This is the supplement to the article we started the show with.
Yeah. And then those silence start going off. And lastly, our good old buddy, former presidential candidate, if you remember his name, Tom Steyer, tweeted this out today. He said, it is up to white people to destroy white supremacy. And I said, well, Ranting Monkey and Satsu 2 Cents, marginalized individuals, could both use a large chunk of your personal wealth, Tom. I mean, you do want to divest yourself of your power and privilege, which feeds directly into white supremacy, don't you, Tom?
No, he doesn't.
And this happened just a couple minutes ago, but I guess this is a thing. This is a headline. This is the top story on CNN.com right now. And I just screenshotted the headline. Gun-toting members of the Boogaloo movement are showing up at protests. I obviously missed the Reddit thread on this one. There's a Boogaloo movement.
Okay, let me explain this one. The Boogaloo movement, and this is why I keep telling y'all, you can't have Boogaloo unless you're breakdancing. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is Civil War II. Electric Boogaloo, get it? They're clever folks.
Okay.
So they just call it Boogaloo as a code word. Hint, hint. You can't have it unless you're doing a head spin. Sorry. No. But yeah, that's what they're talking about. Boogaloo movement.
I just couldn't take that headline seriously. I thought, is this a Babylon Bee? No, this is CNN, and it took 3 reporters to work on this one. But yeah, so that's all the fucking tree I've got.
I'm gonna throw a link into chat for you guys. I'm also gonna bring it on the screen here, but you're not gonna be able to see it really well. I just want you guys to be able to zoom in yourselves so you can actually see. I don't know if you can see this guy's sign right here. It says, "If they start shooting, get behind me."
Oh, how brave!
This motherfucker's bulletproof, apparently.
No, he's offering himself up as a bullet sponge.
Now, this protest you're seeing here, it's actually part of a small protest in some small town that nobody gives a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy right over here, the protesters all got mad because he came out, and you can barely see it in that picture, but he came out, he's got 3 weapons visible on him.
Uh-oh.
And so they called the police, and the police went, so he's open carrying. This is an open carry state, which upset them very greatly. So some of them went over there, including the idiot with the sign, "If they start shooting, get behind me." You're not bulletproof, dumbass. Operation Get Behind the Honkies. But the reason I found that picture was because of a picture of another child, Scribbles, and I tweeted this out with, "Stop taking your kids to protest." A 9-year-old girl at that protest. I'm like, okay, and what if there was shooting that happened? You brought your 9-year-old there. Good job.
Well, that one picture that shows the cop like aiming the rubber bullet gun like supposedly at a dude with his kid on his shoulders, and they're like, this picture should terrify you. Somebody actually took that shot from a different angle and was like, he's nowhere near that cop. Like, it's actually
Well, if you pay attention to that picture itself, you can see there's giveaways that he's not even pointing it at the guy.
Mm-hmm.
The closest you could say is he's pointing it, or he's getting ready to fire it near them, but not towards them.
Mm-hmm. And that was the backup. Once everybody pointed that out, and like, yeah, he's not. He was like, well, he shouldn't even have it pointed at all if there are kids present. I'm like, why are there kids present?
Yep. Keep your kid at home. You're gonna get him hurt. You're a bad parent.
Look, bringing your kids to a protest is probably one of the stupidest fucking things you can do. And a person's response to that, their retort to that statement was, well, there were kids being hurt that were nowhere near the protest. And I'm like, you do realize that you're making my point, right?
That just makes it okay, because other kids were being hurt. These ones should be.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. Left, right, center, I don't give a fuck. Do not take your kids to a protest. If you can't find somebody to watch them, stay at home yourself. Taking them there makes you a bad parent. You are putting your child directly in harm's way. Stop it.
I just love the argument, children being hurt justifies putting children at risk. Like, what?
The last one I have, this one, oof. So we heard all about the protesters getting tear gassed outside the White House the other day, so Donald Trump could go across the street to the church and have his photo op.
Yes.
Well, that came out, and then the White House came out and like, that wasn't tear gas. Those were smoke grenades. And the AP has decided they're not going to let that shit fly. Real quick, Ginger Snap, thank you. Kids make the best shields. They really don't. They're small. Get a fat fuck in front of you if you want to be shielded.
Forget that guy with the sign. He knows what to do.
Yeah, just get behind his big ass. So they came out with with evidence that that the White House was lying.
Okay.
The problem is it's no AP fact check. Trump denies tear gas use despite evidence. Oh, we lost Satsu. He'll be back in a second, I hope. Their evidence is simply that they have a whole bunch of people that they talk to who weren't involved, but who say anything that makes you tear up is a tear gas.
Oh no, they didn't.
Yeah, they really did.
Oh, so somebody was cutting onions nearby. Tear gas.
Yeah, well, they even say, look, technically pepper spray is a tear gas.
Oh, for Christ.
Yeah, it's actually in there. The problem is they as part of their evidence, they have pictures and a video that they share. Well, in the video that they share, not only do they show these cops without masks standing in the middle of this tear gas, they also have some of the canisters exploding and the smoke, because it was a fucking smoke grenade coming out, and the protesters standing there no reaction whatsoever, not wiping their eyes, not blinking, not running away, just like, huh. Yeah, that's part of their evidence that they show that that Trump was lying.
Can I get a link to that? Those I wanted those pictures. I need those.
Oh yeah.
This reminds me just.
I was gonna say there's a video that's about a little bit, maybe a third of the way down, that you can see it.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying, Scribe?
Isn't this just like the journalistic equivalent of we can never admit that we're wrong? You know, that mentality we keep coming up against in so many places. It's like somehow admitting you're wrong is a moral failing, especially if it has to do with saying something against Trump. Like if you say something against Trump and you end up having it wrong, you can't admit you got something wrong. You have to find a way that you're still correct. And it just makes you look like an idiot in the process.
I think I figured it out. I think Johnson & Johnson has come out with a no more tears tear gas. Frosted Glass, thank you. Mufasa's death was tear gas. # Black Lives Matter.
Oh.
Yeah, so lots of stupid out there. Karamon, when you say the dumbest thing ever, so many choices. And I don't think I even got to the one that I said was the dumbest. Hang on a second, guys. I know it's your time, but we'll get there in a second. Because what was the one that I said this is the dumbest take I've seen? Oh, we didn't talk about this one either. We have to bring it up. We just have to. I'm sorry. This cannot go unaddressed. I want y'all to look at your screens right now. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that says Bethesda, Bethesda ANZ, Bethesda Middle East, Bethesda France, and Bethesda Brazil.
Notice anything?
I'm not even gonna comment.
Is there a Bethesda Middle East?
Apparently there is.
Huh, okay.
I saw it like, oh my God. Oh no, the dumbest thing was the one that you read, Scribbles, the one with the guy, if there's corona spike, it's not because of protests. Yeah. That one's going to be hard to beat today. That's going to be real hard to beat even this week, I think. Because if there is a spike in corona, it might have something to do with a whole bunch of people gathering together. I'm just,
maybe.
If we're going to believe the social distancing thing, you have to believe that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your time, questions, comments, concerns, throw them into the chat now, and we will do our best to get to them. But yeah, I saw that Bethesda thing. I think that's the first thing I saw when I woke up, and I just died. Did you guys see the video of the chick who said, what is it? If you, you have to support, if you support Black Lives Matter, you have to support animal rights.
Oh, right. Yeah. Animal rights, animal lives matter too, or whatever.
Yeah. And it's this like minute-long TikTok video where she repeatedly basically says black people are animals. She had a follow-up this morning where she's like, obviously that's not what I'm saying. Thank you for pointing out how stupid I was. I just didn't speak very well. But still, people, look, guys, slaughterhouses are mostly in black neighborhoods.
What?
Yeah, I'm not making that up.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
That's what she said. Thank you, Karamon. In Bethesda, ME, fat man are vests.
On some relatively decent news, did you guys see Floyd Mayweather decided to pay for George Floyd's funeral
I
services.
saw that. Yeah.
Good on him.
Guess how much that fucking funeral is?
How much?
$88,000.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
can see that.
burying this motherfucker in a goddamn diamond encrusted fucking like what the hell? I'm
No,
like,
it's
oh,
going to be a
shit.
public service.
Yeah, the logistics of it alone, the security, everything else is probably going to be what's putting most of the cost into that.
That is insane.
That is an expensive funeral, but I can see it because there's going to be public interest in the funeral, and if it is public, then yeah, you're going to need a venue first of all.
Yep.
That's not something you're having in your backyard. I give up on statues. Just take them all down. Remove the Confederate grave. Just get rid of it all. I don't want to be that way. We're so weird about when we decide history matters or not. The Confederate or the statue of the Confederate General Robert Lee, because that's how they're saying it everywhere. Confederate General Robert Lee, because nobody knew where he was from, could be used as a teaching thing. Nope, just tear it down. We got to hide that. We got to hide it. It's weird. This goes to hiding the sins of our past. Shouldn't that be something? Okay, yes, it does. It's very looking at him in an admirable way, the way he's up there. But why not have a museum there that teaches about the realities of what happened?
Well, I mean, some people like one of the responses I hear a lot is, okay, if you want to know the history, go read a fucking book. It's not hard. We don't need a monument of him like standing here over people is what a lot of people tend to respond to that. And it's like, all right, I mean, that's not a bad comeback.
Well, it is, because I mean, there's a difference from just reading a book and like going to a museum or especially you can read all about the Civil War. Just go to Gettysburg. Don't take a tour there. Don't go with some historian. Just go there and stand on that battlefield. That'll fuck you up, man. Sanguine, thank you. Pepper spray isn't tear gas just because the root of administration, the chemical compounds are the same, OC and CS. It is pepper spray when it is streamed or gel, and it is tear gas when it is an area denial device that is a mister or vapor setup. Thank you. I'm sorry. He's too technical. I need you to throw a gunna in there somewhere. No, thank you. But here, I'll give you their argument, Sanguine. Anything that makes you tear is a tear gas.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing they didn't mention was smoke, because this isn't smoke like off of a fire, so it doesn't have the same irritant in your eye. That's more of a dispersal thing that just confuses people. Get the fuck out. But yeah, that is their thing. Anything that causes tear that they use is a tear gas. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm telling you what they said. And thank you, Gamer Valine. Shipping a body is like $10K plus family going. Or you could just have Scribe hide it for you.
No. The litter game. It's not about hiding. It's just about dumping it. You don't.
Okay, dump it in the open, but without getting caught.
That's right. There you go. That's VR littering. Yeah.
So what's going to happen if you get bingo, Scribe?
Sorry, what was the question?
What's going to happen if you get bingo on your TEDx bingo?
We all lose.
There you go.
Congratulations, you've gone insane.
Yeah, you see, it's going to be sort of like a Call of Cthulhu game. It's like for every time that we find one on the bingo board, you lose a sanity point. And if you make a bingo, yep, you're down to 0, and you can join the Cult of Cthulhu. Yay!
Can you make like a list of like the ones that passed and got bingo? You can make like a list of them.
Oh, and have a recommendation like here's some that won't make you go nuts.
Yeah, these are bingoed videos.
Yeah.
Lords of Night, have you seen the movie 15 Minutes? 15 Minutes. Sounds familiar. I don't know if I've seen it though.
I need more context.
That's like 3 minutes longer than my attention span.
It is a 2001 crime thriller directed by John Hersfield, starring De Niro. And
oh yeah, no, I have seen that. Yeah, I did see that. I barely remember it until you said it was De Niro. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because it did sound familiar. But then movies with like times as their titles, I always think of like some kind of time travel movie or something. So
yeah, I haven't seen that one. I remember hearing the name. Animal lives matter because we need to produce lots of carbon emissions if we want to keep the planet nice and green, but not too much. Okay. Ranting Monkey, did you click Satsu's link?
sure, why not?
Chat. No.
I apologized in advance, by the way, for anybody who clicked on that.
Oh, I saw that, or I watched that video actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was going around this morning when I woke up, and yeah, it's disgusting. Have you seen Dazed and Confused, Scribe?
Yes, a couple of times, sure. I don't think it's as good as some people say, but it is a relatively iconic movie from the 90s, yeah.
Statues torn down today, books burned and deleted tomorrow. Yeah. But I mean, look, you either get rolled over or you get on board, right? I say burn it all down. We'll start fresh. The world started when Trump was elected, so we should just get rid of everything beforehand. Which,
right,
by the way, includes Barack Obama.
Oh.
What? He wasn't president. Presidency started in 2016.
All right.
Well, 2017, actually, January. Where was that one? You mean the Confederacy made of the Democrat Party? Yeah, indeed. Absolutely. That's where they came from. Okay, Monkey, then regardless of the root, it is going to make everything spicy, make you snot up, make you cry, and make you feel like a weak midget is trying to choke you as your throat feels tight, but you can still breathe. The rest of the argument is BS. Sanguine, I'm not one. Thank you for the donation. And again, I'm not arguing with you. It's the AP's argument. Their argument is if it makes you cry, it is tear gas. It's a S Scribe. Is that him or me?
That was him.
Who's doing?
You were roboting.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I don't even know where I was now. Sorry.
Oh, okay. But yeah, as Scribe was pointing out, this seems before. I don't know what you're saying just now. This seems more like we have to make it fit the facts because the facts didn't fit, than them actually believing their bullshit. I don't for a moment believe they actually believe that pepper spray and tear gas are the same thing. Rubber bullets, tear gas? No, because it's not a gas. I should be, when I say that, anything that makes you tear, it's anything gaseous that makes you tear. So like a Taco Bell fart is tear gas. Thanks for going with me on that. Would you kiss a fish person?
Which half of them is fish?
You mean like that movie where that lady had sex with the fish dude? I didn't watch that movie, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, that was strange.
If they were half fish, no, I'm not putting my tongue near them. I don't eat fish. I don't want to taste fish. No. Any update on Obamagate trial, or is that tomorrow? It was supposed to start today, and I didn't see anything about it, Roger. The House or Senate, I had to be Senate. The Senate panel looking into Obamagate that was supposed to start yesterday or today, I forgot all about it, and I didn't see anything anywhere, so I'm guessing there weren't major revelations. Excuse me.
Oh,
what up?
One of my friends on Facebook, I was scrolling through Facebook, and he put up a picture. I guess he ordered a chicken biscuit or something at McDonald's, and they actually gave him like a McGriddle chicken sandwich or whatever, which I'm pretty sure they don't do, right? Like that's not a thing at McDonald's, is it?
I don't know. I would try it though.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm looking like they need to make if this ain't a thing, it needs to be, because I don't even fucking like McDonald's, but I'd try that.
I like McDonald's. I'm not a fan of their biscuits. They're way too dry.
Yeah, their biscuits are fucking desert biscuits.
But I would try it with a chicken on there. Lord, suburban Chicago looters raided the Baby Gap hard. What the fuck is that? You got to have your baby dressed up nice when you take it to a protest. You don't want him out there looking like a scrub. You got to be styling. So they're saying some nerve gas, chlorine type things, are tear gas. Under their definition, technically, yes. Yeah, look, again, I tried pointing out how stupid they were, but I don't think they listened to me. But yeah, according to them, all of these, any gaseous thing that makes you tear up is gas, or is tear gas. And they talked to several people that told them this, that reiterated what they were trying to think themselves. Oh lords, would y'all try a slice of layer cake that is top layer marble cake, middle choco vanilla swirl, ice cream, bottom a marble brownie? Yeah. Is there part of that that doesn't go together?
That sounds pretty good. Hey, Monkey.
What up?
Somebody said, why are people so scared of the riots and looting? The flu kills way more people every year.
Yeah, the flu don't burn down my house, though.
It could.
I just saw the counter, quote, American culture is so broken and detached from reality that you say they shouldn't go to the protests if they're pregnant or have kids. Thoughts? What? American culture is so broken and detached from reality that you say they shouldn't go to the protest. No, they can go if they have kids. They just don't take the kid with them. And if you're pregnant, no, don't go to a fucking protest. Not if you care about that kid at all. Sorry. You're putting yourself in a dangerous position. There are certain things.
not a protest where there's riots involved. Your regular old protest might be fine. Come on.
Nope. You're putting yourself in a giant mob of people, and a very dangerous thing is to be in a giant mob of people. There are things you do as a parent that you make choices for that child rather than for yourself. You don't go out drinking every night anymore. You don't go to concerts when you're pregnant and get high off your ass. There's things you stop doing. And I'm sorry, ladies, that means you can't go protest because you got a little Johnny growing inside of you. Run down to the Planned Parenthood if you're that committed, and then go. Thank you, Officer Buck. Hey, guys, just popping in to say I stand against all bad things, and I am only for good things. Please clap. Thank you for the donation, which, by the way, good thing. How about if instead of tear gas, they just use powdered semen? Is that okay? It's a lot of semen they'd need. Man, you guys are quiet tonight. There was that. Okay. Which biscuits are drier, Popeyes or McDonald's? McDonald's. They could make those drier if they were actually made out of sand.
I don't know, man. Popeyes, they give you fucking hockey pucks. Motherfuckers are.
Maybe those are scones.
Yeah, that's what they kind of remind me of, and I'm just like, ugh. And it's weird too, because like the butter they put on it, it definitely doesn't taste like real butter. It tastes like they got a fucking little shaker back there that just says butter on it.
Where are we? You see your boy Pat tweets with the wuss yelling at the soldier. No. I know I saw a lot of things with people yelling at soldiers. So I couldn't tell you if it was from your boy Pat or not, but I saw a lot of those. Which one was it? There's a lot of people being very brave, knowing that nothing's going to happen to them. Lords of the Night, should there be a sequel to Reservoir Dogs, as in where did Mr. Pink go after he grabbed the diamonds, after Mr. White, Joe Cabo, however you say that, and Mr. Nice Eddie shot each other? I mean,
there are sequels to Reservoir Dogs. They're called Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown and everything else in the Tarantino universe. I mean, hell, True Romance is actually sort of a sidequel from Reservoir Dogs, because when Mr. White talks about his partner, Alabama, what's the name of the girl in True Romance and so on? Yeah, every Tarantino movie is in some way, shape, or form an extension, either before or after Reservoir Dogs.
but one specifically that has to do with where he went there.
Well, Mr. Pink's dead. He got shot outside at the end of the movie. Nice Guy Eddie's dead. Joe Cabot's dead. I mean, you see them die. There's no mystery as to what happened to those guys. The only person who there might be a mystery to is what happened to Mr. Brown and Mr. Blue. They don't really show that, as far as I recall. So other than that, and if you want to know what happened, the Reservoir Dogs video game actually covers the stuff that happened behind the scenes, so to speak, in the story, except it's a terrible game, and I would not recommend playing it. Watch some playthrough or something.
Thank you, Gamer Valine. The one where he called the mag a clip pet peeve. Oh, I didn't see that. No. If I did, I wasn't paying attention to what the idiot was saying after a while, because I've seen so many of these, so many. Whether I've seen it with the military, and I've seen it with the National Guard specifically, and I've seen it with, and when I say military, I mean whichever troops were called in, because there were actual troops out there in places, and then your National Guard, and there's going to be people, we're actual troops, you know what I mean, active duty, and then people doing it to the police. So yeah, there's lots of people showing just how horrible the world is for blacks, where they can't say even the wrong thing to police. Wait, no, those guys are still alive. I hate when it jumps. There we go. Did you see Missouri Attorney General says Attorney Kim Gardner released all looters from jail? I didn't, but I'm not shocked. We talked about this the other day. When these people end up getting arrested for looting and stuff like this, we saw it in Ferguson. We've seen it in other places. They end up just getting let go. And if they do end up going to court for it, they don't even get a slap on the hand. It's just be good and you won't get anything come of this. A little
get out of here, you little scamp.
Yeah. Oh Lords, Squid Girl, T-Rex Girl, or Cigarette Smoke Girl? Blame Japan. I don't know. Who are these girls?
They are girls in Japanese culture.
All right. Suppose a parent spoke out saying they were crossing the street and shit went crazy, but who knows? Oh, that's something else. Okay. Have you seen the one, only one rainbow matters during Pride, Skittles? No.
Uh-oh.
Did they? Oh, well, during Pride Month, don't they make their packages white so that they say that?
Well, I remember that where they were saying like they made all their Skittles white for some social justice reason, and everybody got pissed off.
Yeah. Why, Monk? Why? What I did? But no, yeah. Skittles pulled that stuff. I don't know if that's this time, but I remember. Yeah, they went all white because they weren't trying to take away from homosexuals, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was something like that, and people were like, "How dare you make them all white? We know what that means. You're not slick." And they're like, "Oh God, we're so sorry. We're just stupid corporate bigwigs who don't know shit about what people actually want."
Would you rather lose your junk or both arms? Honestly, my junk. Believe it or not, I don't do a whole lot with my dick. I like it. It's one of my favorite parts of my body, but in all seriousness, it's not that useful. It's got two uses. I use my arms for a whole lot of shit. I can't feed myself with my dick. Gentlemen, junker arms.
What?
Would you rather lose your penis or your arms?
Man,
Jesus.
why you gotta get me fucking hard? Well, with science and technology now, I could get either back. So,
Well, if you're looking for it that way, then I changed my answer. I'd rather keep my original junk.
yeah.
But again, can't feed myself with my dick. I haven't tried. I'm just guessing. Where are we at? It was the one with the Pokemon hoodie was yelling at a soldier. Yeah, I didn't. I'll have to look. I follow Pat, so I'm sure I'll see it, but I didn't see it. I'm white. Let me apologize for being born, I guess. You don't have to apologize for that, just for everything that came before you. Which reminds me, I see all these people out there virtue signaling on Twitter today, and I just, white people, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go out there and virtue signal you're not racist. You know what you need to do? Not be racist.
Well, they got a fuck ton of people telling them that not being racist is not enough. Like, just because you're not a racist, that doesn't mean you're not a part of the problem of racism, which is mind melting. But
yeah, I saw the sign yesterday. White silence is violence. Fuck you. What are your thoughts on people that have dog skin rugs in memory of their pets? They're weird.
Yeah, I always thought it's weird people who get their dogs stuffed too. Like, that's creepy. It's creepy as fuck. I mean, your sentimental values and stuff, but that is it's creepy.
You don't do that with your kid. Like, he dies prematurely, like, well, we're going to make a rug out of him. That's weird. Stop it.
Well, I just saw a picture of a girl standing on top of an upside down police car, taking a shit on it while a whole crowd of people watched. And I am done with the internet now. So,
Jesus. Do y'all think that Trump will put laws in to quell this rioting, only for them to be built on by the next president for a true tyrant to rise? No, I don't think Trump's going to put any laws in about this. The law that he was using is from the Civil War. That one goes back to the 1860s that he invoked. So it's already there. But I do wonder how much Trump actually planned to do it and how much of it was him just trying to light a fire under these shitheads for not doing their goddamn jobs. Because what happened when Trump did that? The governors and mayors finally started doing their fucking jobs, and we had like a pretty quiet night last night.
well, that's what I thought. Like, I was like, he lit a fire under their asses and they got to work. But I tried to do a little research and look it up, and what I found, it said that the only way he could intervene or do something like that, he actually needs a request from the governor to send the military in. Like, he can't just do it. Like, it is upon request is what I found, and I don't know how true that is. I was wondering if you guys knew.
Well, Scribbles dropped out just a second ago, so I don't know. I haven't seen the laws in place. If it's quelling insurrection, I don't think you need the governor's request, because insurrection would be a federal. I mean, if they're talking about going, bringing down the United States, that becomes a federal issue. So I'd have to read the actual statute to see what it says. But to the point, like, yeah, he doesn't have to put anything in. It's there. It's whether or not it gets used.
Yeah, let me see. Somebody actually shared it with me. I don't know if I will have enough time to find it, but I'll see if I can real quick.
Well, Scribbles just got back, and we just hit 11 o'clock. So send it to me. We can talk about it tomorrow, Satsu. Welcome back, Scribe. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen.
You can hear me?
I just heard that.
Oh, great. Well, all right.
Well, we're wrapping up anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so very generous, and we really do appreciate that. Scribe, do you have anything planned for tomorrow?
No.
All right. Satsu, anything on the plate?
Nothing I know of or cannot think about right now.
We're going to have to see if I'm going to game stream. I'm ridiculously tired, even though I did sleep pretty well, and I've only been up for a few hours, so we'll see what happens. Pay attention to Twitter if you want to see what we're doing, because YouTube doesn't like to tell you. Thank you guys for coming by. Satsu, Scribbles, a pleasure as always, gentlemen. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Your lives make me